It's not every day we welcome a Canadian luminary, the first Canadian female solo singer to reach #1 on the U.S. charts and first to earn a gold record for this signature song.
The snowbird sings a song he always sings and speaks to me of flowers that will bloom again in spring.
4 Grammys, 3 American Music Awards, a record 24 Junos in a career that spanned 40 years and 55 million albums sold. Now add one more release. This month, a special double vinyl release of her latest album, the ultimate collection of her favorite songs. Of course, we are talking about Anne Murray, and it is such an honor to have you in the newsroom tonight.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
The idea of an ultimate collection makes me wonder what a choice that must have been for you. How did you choose them?
Well, it was kind of easy because there were 2 CDs, and one was the hits, and then the other CD was songs that I had done over the years and were album cuts, and that were particular favorites of mine, and favorites of fans who asked for them at concerts and so on. So, but you can't please everybody, and I'm hearing from people now saying, "Why did you leave this one out? Why did you leave that one out?" But I said I've recorded in excess of 500 songs, so it's hard to choose.
Wheedle it down to 40.
Yeah.
While you were doing that, were you thinking back to the times you first performed those songs? Was it a nostalgic experience?
Yeah, I went back over everything, and you know, a lot of those songs withstood the test of time because I always had for the last 15 years, I had an unplugged segment in my show, my live show, where people would request songs. And so there were songs that kept coming up. And those are the ones that went on the second disc, the ones that happened most often and were favorites of mine.
Are you emotional when you go through this, or is it sort of such ancient history? Or?
Well, it is kind of ancient history, but it is a trip down memory lane. I know when I was doing the research for it, I had to listen over again, and brought back a lot of great memories.
Did any of it ever make you want to get back on a stage?
Oh, no.
Why is that?
Oh, no. I did it for 40 years, and 40 years is long enough to do anything. And I wanted to have some time to myself.
How's that going for you? Do you miss the...
No.
You don't? And yet you must still, everywhere you go, must still be the reminder.
Well, I say no a lot. And if I had known how easy it was to say no, I would have started saying it earlier. But no, I don't miss it. I mean, I miss my road family. The people I traveled with, many of them were with me for over 30 years. It used to be you retired and it was like you disappeared off the face of the earth. Well, now you have social media. I keep in touch with all my fans, and it's great. So I'm still alive, and I don't work, I don't sing anymore, but I do keep in touch.
Even at home, you don't ever want to just belt out a good tune if you hear one?
I sing Happy Birthday every now and then. And I have a little granddaughter, and she's 3, and I sing to her occasionally.
So retirement, are you now an actual snowbird? Are you spending winters in Florida?
I spend 3 months in Florida. And
You've become what made you famous.
Well, yeah, I guess. But I spend 3 months in Nova Scotia, 3 months in Florida, and 3 months in Toronto.
So we are going to talk...
Or 6 months. What was left over? 6 months, yeah.
We're going to talk more about that. There's so much to talk about with Anne Murray here with us on the set. So I'm going to say goodnight to everyone. Thank you for watching tonight. On behalf of Anne Murray, me, and everyone here at the National Newsroom, jump onto our website for the rest of our conversation, and we'll see you tomorrow. Welcome back on an exciting night here in the National Newsroom. It's not every day we welcome a Canadian luminary, the first Canadian female solo singer to reach #1 on the U.S. charts and first to earn a gold record for this signature song.
The snowbird sings a song he always sings and speaks to me of
4 Grammys, 3 American Music Awards, a record 24 Junos in a career that spanned 40 years and 55 million albums sold. Now add one more release. This month, a special double vinyl release of her latest album, The Ultimate Collection of her favorite songs. And we're going to continue our conversation now with Anne Murray, the new album, Ultimate Collection,
Yeah.
and dig into that a little bit more. How did you do it? You know, I can picture you sitting on a living room floor with,
Yeah.
songs all around you.
Well, I actually have, yeah, I did. I had to go through a lot of vinyl albums, which are, of course, all on CD now, but yeah, it was a bit of research, and I was back and forth, trying to decide. I was back and forth with the label, saying, well, and I kept saying, oh, well, here's another one. Try this one, and let's see how this works. And but
Are
after
there
a
any
while,
you're tired of that you know you have to put them on because they're fan favorites, but you personally?
no, not really.
Wow.
No, I mean, the songs were there, and I picked them for a reason. And I had to sing Snowbird a lot. But I never, I never tired of it, ever. I remember once that I was in Las Vegas or somewhere. And when you're in Las Vegas and you're doing 2 shows a night, you sometimes wander. Your mind wanders in the middle of a show. Well, it wandered in the middle of Snowbird, and my mind went blank, and the words didn't come out.
Really?
And I had to stop the show.
Did that
and
scare
say,
you?
Well, all you can do is laugh and go, oh, sorry. Pick that up again. It's, that's the beauty of a live show. As long as you don't panic, you just laugh about it and,
it's
get
funny.
on with the show.
You bring up, Vegas, and I think about the Celine Dion and Shania Twain, who've really made careers out of Vegas, taking their well-sung songs. Was that ever something you thought about doing?
Well, I did Vegas for 25 years, but I really only did it 3 times a year, and I did it for 2 weeks at a time. Well, no, that's not true. There were a couple of years there where I did it a lot when my kids were little, and I would take them to Vegas with me. But that was so hard because we were doing 2 shows, and that's brutal because you didn't get back to the house. I didn't get back to the house until 2 in the morning or whatever, and then you couldn't get up with the kids. And
You really were a trailblazer in that sense, being a mother, raising 2 little kids, and having this gold star music career.
yeah, it was tough.
Good or bad?
Well, I really don't think I had a choice. I mean, if I look back, I either did it or I didn't. And I had this opportunity, and I was the breadwinner in the family at that time, and so the door was open. What do you do? So my kids suffered because I wasn't home enough.
I'm sure it was tough for you as a young woman traveling at that
Yeah,
time.
it was, and Vegas was particularly tough because with the 2 shows, but it all ended because I wasn't going to play it anymore unless I could do only 1 show. And we kind of, as entertainers, Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers and the rest of us who were playing the town at that time, kind of got together and said, we're not doing 2 shows a night. It's too hard on us. So I went back when they decided to do 1.
How did you, though, and I've read your book, so I know that there were tough times in there also, but basically it seems you were able to dodge some of the vices that have crippled other young, especially female stars.
Well, I first of all, I got into it a little bit later. I went to university and I taught school for a year, and I was pretty grounded. And I grew up with 5 brothers in a very happy household. I had my feet planted firmly on the ground, I think, through it all. And so that really stood me in good stead throughout my career.
But I'm stunned at the fact that you were at the bitter end and the Troubadour. Like these are the most famous historic, but also the concept of a sort of the drug haze. And
Oh yeah, no, I never. Do you know? I mean, there were lots of. I had musicians who liked the drugs, but I never was much interested in it at all. So that was good.
yeah, that was really good, I'd say. But the trappings of it, you know, I think of appearances on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And like, are those?
You know, it's all just work. So it was all stuff that I had to do, and it was my work, and some of it was thrilling, some of it was hard work. I mean, it was all hard work, but the thing is that I didn't have a life. Basically, for 40 years, it was my work, and my nose was to the grindstone the whole time. But not that I didn't have some good times. Of course I did, you know. But I don't look back, as someone said. It's fine to look back, just don't stare.
That's a good line.
Yeah.
But you said one of the things you wanted to do was stop and not feel guilty about stopping. How challenging was that for you?
Well, I don't think I ever felt guilty about stopping. About quitting, you mean? About giving up?
Slowing down, sort of.
Well,
taking
you don't really slow down. You either do it or you don't. That's the way I always found it. So I just decided, and I knew it was time to pack it in, because I was in my 60s. I didn't want to settle for less. I could still sing, but I didn't want to get to that point where people felt sorry for me. You know, they could hear the voice, oh, it isn't what it used to be. Well, I never got there.
You're probably your own worst critic.
Well,
because-
yes, but I know, and I know the difference, and I wasn't ready to settle for that. And it was the best decision. I mean, there are things small regrets that I have in my career, not a lot, but the one I don't have is retiring.
Is that right?
Oh, it's been the greatest thing
Wow.
ever. I have a life. I have time to I have time with my family, with friends. I get to play a lot of golf. I get to stay fit. I get to do, every other day I swim for an hour with my daughter. I mean, how great is that?
That's amazing. And she's an incredible artist now also.
Yeah, she is.
So you're able to, as you say, spend time with your children, your grandchildren, no regrets as far as
None.
moving past this huge Canadian career.
No, it's so funny because time has gone by. It's been 9 years since I retired.
Wow.
And I don't even think of it anymore. I don't even remember that person. I go out shopping, do things, and people say, hi, Anne. I mean, people still say hi to me, and I go, do I know you? And they, well, no, but I forget
That's amazing.
that I did that. So it's come, my life has kind of come around full circle. So I'm back to where I was at 20 years old or whatever.
And when you think back to when you were 20 years old, like, as you say, the girl who'd been a school teacher for a year, and did you ever dream that this career would unfold out of Spring Hill, Nova Scotia?
No, I don't think I ever dreamed of it. It all of a sudden it happened, and I just went along with it. And I worked very hard along the way. Because I'm a bit of a perfectionist and I want it to be done right. So I went at it 100%.
And the people, though, that would have been in your Rolodex blows my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, Glenn Campbell, for example,
Yeah.
and it was so sad for so many people
Yeah.
when he died. But for you, this must have been losing a friend.
Oh yes, it was. He was a wonderful man, and he was so good to me and so instrumental in helping me early on in my career. He did so much. He nurtured me. He took me on tour. I opened for him in Las Vegas. I opened for him in Lake Tahoe. He took me to Europe. I opened for him there. Every time that I ever asked him to do anything, be a guest on a special up here, he was here for me, always.
Why do you think that was?
I don't know. I mean, I did his show. I was a semi-regular on his television show, the Glenn Campbell Good Time Hour. And we just hit it off. It was like a brother-sister kind of thing. Although my brothers and I fought all the time, so it wasn't, it wasn't really like that. It was anyway, just a great guy. And
Were you able to reach out to him before his own, mental demise?
Well, the last time I worked with him, he opened for me.
Wow.
We worked together in an outdoor theater, amphitheater in Minnesota. It would be in the early 2000s, I think. And he opened for me, and I noticed that there was something. So it took a long time, but I noticed there was something a little different about him, a little off. And so I spoke to his daughter about it. She was traveling with him then. And she said, yeah. She didn't elaborate, but I had a feeling.
Such a sad.
Yeah.
But a tribute also, in the sense, the documentary, I thought was really, I'm sure you must
Yeah,
have seen
I did see
it. I
it.
mean,
Very
again, it's about awareness.
Oh, hard to watch.
Brutal to watch.
Oh, hard to watch. I just, and that's why, I could have gone to see him when he was traveling, but I just didn't, I couldn't bring myself to go to see him like that,
What about young artists today? When you look at, we were talking a little bit about the pressure you were under as a 25-year-old and hating being on the road, but loving other parts of it.
Right.
What are your thoughts or your advice to young artists?
Well, it depends on how young they are, because I get a lot of letters from mothers and fathers who have 13 and 14-year-old children who are talented, they say, and what should they do? And I just tell them that I'm not the person to ask, because I don't think kids that age should be in show business. And I think, you know what I tell them? Get them singing in choirs. Have them singing in choirs for the next 10 years. Then let them do whatever they want.
That's not as fast as a YouTube sensation.
No, see what I mean? Nobody wants that. They want the instant thing. And I mean, when you watch all of those competitive shows, they want to look at the whole package. They want to. I mean, I had a chance to kind of grow up in the business. I didn't know anything. I didn't know what I was doing at all. I sat on a stool with a ukulele.
Wow. But it must have seemed, I mean, at that moment, Snowbird takes off and boom,
Yes.
you are a star
Yeah.
on both sides of the border, and this incredible.
But there was so much more to learn, and I learned a lot from Glenn and working on his television show, but I just got caught up in that. I had no idea what I was doing. All I knew was that I could sing well, and he helped me with that too, because we got together and we would sing just in the dressing room, and it was amazing because he was so great.
It must have just been, I mean, for you, that must be an incredible memory.
It was great.
And the rituals of performance then, I mean.
Oh, I look at some of those shows. I was just awful. I was, and we laughed.
What do you mean you thought you were awful?
Well, I was so stiff and so, I mean, I could sing, but that was never a problem. And I could sing with anybody, but I was just so rigid, and but that's where experience comes in, that goes away with time.
Yeah, with getting comfortable with an
Yeah,
audience.
exactly.
And you never miss that. You never have any desire to.
Oh, absolutely none.
Okay, well, that's pretty definitive.
Absolutely none. No, I'd never go back.
So what does it mean then, putting out the ultimate collection?
Well, I was actually surprised when the record company approached me and said that they'd like to do that. And I thought, well, sure, great, whatever. I mean, I'm fine with it, as long as you don't make me do too many interviews. Well, anyway, I haven't done too many interviews.
Well, I'm glad you're doing this one tonight.
But no, I don't mind doing interviews. You just get out of practice. It's like everything, you get a little bit nervous because, wow, I haven't done it in years, Anyway,
Will you have to do, will you travel to the U.S. with this?
no.
It's just,
No,
it's a Christmas gift to your fans,
Well,
really.
you see, I also do have social media.
Of course, and YouTube
kinda-
channel as well.
Yeah, and we can get at them. We can get at people that way. And I have a really nice core of fans who are so loyal, and they're there all the time for me. And I keep in contact with them. They're like old friends, you know.
Well, many of them are in this newsroom tonight. I count myself among them, and it's
Well,
just
thank you.
so great to have you in the newsroom
Thank
tonight.
you.
And great to meet you.
Good to meet
Sure
you.
you don't want to sing a little,
No, no.
little duet?